This week in the League of Legends, we've got a brand new map on the PBE. Well, not quite brand new. Additionally, we've got some chromas, some skins, all kinds of crazy things. The public test environment, all this and more on the Spastic Gaming web show.
This is Water Elemental.
And this is Axis, and we are here today to talk about the League of Legends. It's an ongoing show. We talk a little bit about everyone's favorite MOBA-style battle game.
Butcher's Bridge. This was something that came out right after we did the episode about Tom Kench.
Tom Cruise is an interesting hero.
So what this is, it's a reskin of ARAM, and from what they've talked about, is that this is going to coincide with some sort of event.
Indeed.
It's taking place in Bilgewater, which is a place we haven't really seen much of.
Not at all, even.
Right. We got some lore snippets here and there. Some say that the Callista video was taking place in Bilgewater, but
really?
I'm not totally sure about that. But anyways, what's going to happen is it's going to be a reskin. I think everything is technically in the same spot. They just skinned everything around it, so I don't think there's going to be any different kind of finesse to it.
Well, there's one amazing thing about this map that I think a lot of people are looking forward to and is really going to change the way that the ARAM matches on it are played, is that you don't have to deal with stupid poros the whole time, which I think is incredible.
They have scuba poros or
I
just
hope
tiny
not.
fizz children crawling around. Kill us!
Ugh.
Starfish. Staruse! Yeah!
I don't know if they have the rights for that.
They can be Poro Staruse and
Okay,
just give them
there we go.
mustaches. They're not stolen whatsoever.
Original character, do not steal.
So, for those of you who haven't seen anything about the map, things that they're adding, they have the original shopkeepers from ARAM. They're returning with new voice acting. They're not the same characters, but they are playing
They're the
same characters. And that kind of bothers me a bit because they kind of repeat some of the quotes that the old ARAM characters do, but they kind of make fun of it, like the whole Watcher lore that was building up back when that was a thing. They're like, the Watchers will return. The Whale Watchers and stuff like that. I'm like, no, I actually wanted to know about the Watchers. That would have actually been kind of cool if, they brought back that. But
So is
Cassidon's daughter?
Is Caston's daughter still out there? Is Jarvan the Fourth actually Jarvan the Fourth?
Shh. Let's talk about whales. Anyways, the map itself, let's actually talk about the map itself, looks really damn good.
Really good texturing. They did this sort of the same washout background with the layering that they did for Summoner's Rift, except it's on the back here, so it kind of moves a little bit. Doesn't have the cool pillar falling down animations like we do with ARAM, but it's got some other small animations in the background, and there's a lot more stuff going on in the foreground.
Right.
So I think that's pretty cool.
It feels cool because you're actually inside of a town. You could see, buildings, houses, rooftops, like right there where you're fighting. And then you also have to think that there's the turrets, which are actually cannons in this map, like firing constantly. And they're just like, oh no, there's people fighting on the bridge, whatever, no big deal.
Ezreal fires his ulti, misses, blows out a house full of children.
Takes out Echo's
there
friend.
Goes the orphanage.
Penta, double, triple, pentakill. And it's just like a bunch of like children's faces pop up on the screen, and Ezreal's just like, ah!
Whoops.
Whose idea was it to fight here? And then just like Tom Kench just like comes around. He's like, I can eat them.
I'm Tom Cruise.
I'm excited to see what the event's going to be surrounding it. There has also been some sound files for a new announcer. They haven't announced what the announcer is going to be doing. He is pirate themed. He sounds like the ghost from Howling Abyss.
Indeed. The main thing to keep in mind, he has all the announcements for the ARAM map, but he also has announcements for
Howling Abyss, Summoner's Rift, Twisted
all
Trail.
the other ones. So he works. Does he have Dominion stuff too?
Yes, he has all the maps.
Which makes me think that maybe after this event, they'll have announcer packs that you can purchase because, with this Chroma pack thing, it makes me think they're getting a little thirsty for dollars.
Girl, you be thirsty for my right points.
They're thirsty.
Announcer packs are harmless. I do prefer the female voice more, but having more variety doesn't hurt. It's all cosmetic. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, that's just there's a design team, and then there's probably a team that goes around building stuff for like announcement patch stuff, like, because they're not hard. Look at like the Steam marketplace, you can see that people just fill out the pre-designated voice packs and send them in. You can vote for them and they're entered. They're not hard. We could probably do one if we felt like it.
Yes.
Double kill.
Coming to Live 2016. We're going to move on from this bit.
What else can we talk about? It's a bridge.
Yeah, it's got some interesting lore. We're waiting to see the event to see why it's relevant, and we'll keep you guys posted when that comes out.
So we have some new Chroma packs coming out live in the store. These are ones we've already talked about for Zac, Morgana, Darius, Cataline, Master Yi, and Tristana. We also have some new Chroma packs coming out for Bard, his basic skin.
Shockblade Zed, Dread Knight Susan, and Grim Reaper Karthus. These are on the PvE right now. They'll probably be seen in the next patch.
Yeah, they don't look too bad. I
like the Grim Reaper Karthus, but it's too muted to really be worth RP for me. A lot of these are just not, they're not crazy enough to be worth RP for me.
The green and gold Bard one, I kind of like that green and gold like theme, and it looks nice, but, again, the price is just so high.
It's kind of a shame. We got some balancing on the PvE. Nothing really that's going to stick quite yet. But the big thing that's wild is they're tweaking around with Zeke's Herald.
Now, originally Zeke's Herald was a AD life-stealing item.
It granted an aura that granted life-steal and attack damage to your foes, or to your allies, rather.
Why am I buying stuff for my opponent?
Then they tweaked it around to give it a little bit more health, a lot less life-stealing, and now they're changing it completely. Now it no longer has a life-steal component. It actually gives mana, armor, ability power, and cooldown reduction. It has a unique active that binds you to an ally. It has a 60-second cooldown. And basically, when you're within a good amount of range of each other, you can generate charges between the two of you. When you hit 100 charges, whenever you two cause damage, whenever each one of you causes damage, you increase your ability power and their ability power by 20%, and each of your critical strike rating by 50% for 6 seconds. It's actually really neat.
Yeah, they're really kind of trying out the mechanic of binding and kind of that whole thing of team.
Of having a pre-made and getting bonus XP for it.
Definitely. Kind of not like pre-made, more like co-op synergy with support. So
20% ability power for 6 seconds is unreal.
And critical strike.
Critical strike is unreal.
All right, Callista, we both hit him, target it. Oh, look, our passive hit. There's the 50% critical strike, the 20 ability power. Oh, I'm playing someone like Blitzcrank where ability power actually can hurt someone. Boop! It's like, oh!
Blitzcrank, it's pretty decent. Looking at it again, critical strike is okay. If you build Blitzcrank the way that I do, it's really good. But if you're, let's say, an Ezreal, okay, and you get this with your lane support, let's say a Taric, build up charges, you're at 100%, stun, 20% bonus shot, ult, jump in, crit, while Taric is whapping away at him.
With his ultimate on. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so deadly.
It's 6 seconds. I mean,
that's a team fight. That's a team fight.
Mm-hmm. And because only one person needs to have this, I mean, you could potentially have this on your mid lane and your support. The mid lane binds to the top of the jungle. The support binds to the ADC. And, fairly regularly, you've got a big burst of 20% AP and 50 crit strike. It's wild.
And you can actually bind it to other people every minute. So, if you're like, all right, I'm with the mid lane now, boop, it's on the mid lane mage. Cool, that benefits them. Oh, I'm going to head back bottom, put it back on bottom.
60 seconds is not a lot of time. So this is going to be a really fun item. I like to see where this goes. It's probably going to get nerfed.
Yeah, and you mentioned something about how the thing builds off the Glacial Shroud.
Glacial Shroud's the best item in the game.
Yeah.
It has so many options now, as a support item, as an offensive item, as a utility item, as a tank item. It's just unreal. And having essentially a
item that gives armor and mana
and gives you 20% ability power, almost on demand, for 2,300 gold. Pretty wet and wild. Pretty wet and wild. And I like to fashion this as another defensive armor item for casters. For your mid laner, they get towards the mid game. This is extremely cheap. 35 armor is nothing to laugh about. 250 mana, it's hard to argue with. 50 AP, it's pretty good. And then getting 20% AP when you start a team fight or when you start a big action, it's really good. So I think this is gonna really blow a lot of people away.
But this is PvE, it might not even make it. We've seen a lot of items come through and then they're just shredded into pulp, and it's like, well, to the Locket with you. It's
Indeed.
like, oh. Anybody remember Locket?
Oh, poor Udyr.
Oh, I just remembered Heart of Gold too. Oh.
Oof, poor Udyr. But that's really it for official news this week, guys. Kind of a slow week. We're waiting for Tom Cruise to come out, and then the big patch that's going to follow him, no doubt. And we'll have to see. Kind of curious if Tom Kench will come out with the Burning Tides event, or if this is going to be a lot later. It's hard to say. They probably have a lot of testing to do on the map versus the amount of testing they need to do for Tam Kench. So I doubt they'll be at the same time, but I have no doubt he will play no small role in said event. He seems to be right along that alley. Move on to our own section, though.
Our first question comes from Belier.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. How do we feel about the Heart of Thorns expansion for Guild Wars 2 and the payment prices that they had set up for players recently?
So this is interesting. If you're not familiar, Guild Wars 2 is an MMO. It's free to play. Not free to. You pay to play. So you buy it once. There's no sub fee, anything like that. There's a cash shop, but you can earn all of it in game, so it's not a huge deal. They've recently announced an expansion pack that they've been developing for a while, and it's $50. And now the curious thing is,
this is the base $50. There's like collector's edition stuff like that.
Yeah, but the original game was $50, and if you buy the expansion, it's just added onto your current account. But if you're a new player and you buy Heart of Thorns, you get the base game and Heart of Thorns for the $50.
Now, a lot of people were very upset with that. They're like, hold on. I got to pay essentially $50 for an expansion and the game I already own. And to me, I'm someone that's like, all right, it makes a little bit of sense. They're trying to bring in new players, expansion, all this stuff. The expansion really doesn't add new levels. It just adds a whole new zone and a lot of new mechanics. Understandable that you kind of need the base game for it, and they're trying to bundle it together, but this is the base set. This is not like a battle chest or like a double pack. The base game for Heart of Thorns are one.
Now, there's one thing I understand about this is Guild Wars 2 releases periodic content. So like every 2 weeks they have a new little mini event or dungeon or zone or storyline quest that you can do every 2 weeks. It's very cool for them. And so basically I think their argument right now is whenever you play Guild Wars 2, if you're on for those 2 weeks, you get that content free, you get to keep it. If you're not on for that 2 week period, that season, that block of content is locked to your character, and you have to go and earn it or purchase it.
Yeah. And
so basically, if you buy a Heart of Thorns character, you don't get the first 2.5 years of storyline content from the Guild Wars 2 base game. So I think that's their argument for charging another $50 is you already have all this stuff. So get this, but it breaks down when, let's say, a returning player like Water Elemental, who owns the game, he doesn't have access to a couple of these blocks of content. If he comes back, he's still paying $50 and he's still missing old content.
Yeah, because I played when the game launched. I didn't get to see Season 1 at all. You cannot buy that. You cannot see it ever again. Came back, major city, blown away. Don't know what's going on. Can't ever experience that again. I can do Season 2, which is leading up to the expansion, but I have to pay. Anybody buying the expansion, I believe, gets that with the base game. So I could buy Heart of Thorns, and I should get it with it, but I don't.
It's pretty silly, and it's, I don't know. It's a Korean company, so there's sort of a communication breakdown between the devs and the player base, which is, I think, why that their action and the outrage has been slow to reach them.
But they have made amends. What they said was, if you bought if you pre-ordered it or you bought it by January, I believe, you can actually buy Heart of Thorns, get all your stuff transferred onto that new account with all the stuff on it, and they will also give you a 5th character slot, which is I think $10 or $15.
Which is important because Heart of Thorns adds
A new class.
and you have limited character slots. So you would have to delete an old character to make room for a new one. So adding a new character slot in order for you to play this new classes, I think, is very important.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm eligible for it, but I'm thinking I might have to do that, even though I only have one character I play, and he's not even max level.
There you have it.
But still, it's the previous content I care about.
Exactly.
Let us know what you guys think about that.
I think it's Haberdash. They need to knock it down in terms of price. If the value of the expansion pack... If the value of the base game is now $0 and the X pack is worth $50, then change the price of Guild Wars 2 to $0. If Guild Wars 2 is still $50, then Heart of Thorns is worth $0. So there has to be a compromise
30.
where you either lower the price of the base game and you make it so that $50 price point is met, so that way they come together, or you change one of them to $0. That's what it comes down to. So just do one of those and you'll please a lot of people. But you can't have it both ways.
Do it. Sorry, Shia LaBeouf.
Just do it! We're idiots. We love questions on the show. If you have a question about us, about League of Legends, about gaming in general, about E3, about what games are coming out, about what we want to do, about what shows are coming about what we did with those girls the other day, about what kind of jetpacks we own, about anything, really.
We'll never see those girls again.
Please post it in the comment section below. Send it to our email at spazticgaming@gmail.com, or post it on our Facebook, Twitter, or website, all of which are linked in the information down below.
Question for you out there as a community. How would you feel about more lore-oriented content for League of Legends? It's been something we've been shooting around back and forth the past couple of days, and we wanted to see some feedback if you feel that there's enough in this new League of Legends lore for us to actually cover again. So our lore buff has been tingling. It's like, can we do stuff? And we look, it's like, oh, Shurima, and that's it. But let us know. We're curious about that. Anyways, this has been Water Elemental.
This has been Axis, and I hit level 60. In a game I probably shouldn't talk about. I gotta get my Nixie attunement.